What's up, y'all? I'm coming at you with every comic book I read in the month of July. This is a big month. I read a lot of fucking books, and some of these books are big ass books, bro. I was really reading this month. So I think I'm going to split this one into two parts. We'll see how it goes. If it's not too crazy, I'll put it in one. But if it gets to be like healthy over an hour video, I'll probably split it in half. But yeah, anyway, we'll start with this one. And what a great one to start with. In front of me is Search and Destroy. It is written and drawn by Atsushi Kaneko. I believe, yeah, Fantagraphics does the book. This is a manga, which I'm not a big manga guy. But, I mean, you'll see in this video, I'm slowly being converted, man. It turns out that manga just means comic in Japanese. So there's lots of different kinds. You can't, not like manga. You just have to find ones that work for you. And that's what I feel like I've done. This one, I heard a lot of talk about how good this book was, just in online spaces. So I'm not surprised that it's good, but I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I think it's objectively very well done, but I really, really like this book. This follows, well, first I should say, it is a retelling, or based on, I guess not a retelling, of Dororo by Osamu Tezuka, who I understand to believe the god of manga, I believe. And that story is about a baby whose body parts get stolen by a bunch of different demons, and he goes to get them back. This one is a similar story, except it has a cyberpunk setting. Okay? So we follow this crazy girl who's on a vicious murder rampage to steal body parts from robots who live in the city. Okay? Now, we know it's a retelling, so we kind of understand what we're going for here, right? She's come here to steal body parts that belong to her. And this book, guys, is probably my favorite action book of the year, I'd say. To call it an action book does feel a little bit limiting, I suppose, but look at this art, dude. Look at that. Oh my god. This book is sick. Sick. I think it's very well written. I think that the idea is good, but I think the execution is unreal. It feels as if, this is only off the first book, that we are just going to get moving assembly line of terrible monster men that our main character kills and rips their hearts out. And I'm so here for it. These robot people that she's coming to kill are nasty, and the author knows exactly the right amount to show us to make us hate him, but not just be terrible, not torture porn, but we're I can't wait for somebody to kick this guy's fucking ass, and boy, do they get their ass kicked every fucking time. It's got really nice pacing. It feels a little bit episodic, each person that our character's going after feels very separate and its own good story, which I really, really enjoyed. Look at how clean this is. There's writing at the beginning of this book that talks about how it is the mangaka's first time all digital, which is crazy to me because this is beautiful stuff. So I can't believe this is first all digital book. I'm yapping for too long about this book. Listen, man, this book is sick. Great action book. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. I do hesitate to call it a banger masterpiece, but it's whatever right below that is. This book is damn good. Big recommend. Search and Destroy. I will be buying the rest of the books, as many as there are. Up next, we got Red Handed, The Fine Art of Strange Crimes, written by Matt Kindt. Now, I'm a big Matt Kindt guy. I've been slowly trying to make my way through all of his books. This one I saw in, some comic subreddit somewhere, and I was like, I don't have that one. I'll go and look for it. Got it pretty cheap. Got it used. Shout out Thrift Books. Buy used books. This story is exactly what it says on the front. The Fine Art of Strange Crimes. It is a bunch of, it feels very anthology-like at first, but these stories are definitely all connected, and there are through lines in between all of them. Matt Kindt famously wrote Mind Management, which I'm making my way through now as well. and I love his writing. His art took some time for me to adjust to it. Now I'm cool with it, but when I first read his books, I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm not reading this. But I have definitely adjusted to it, and it's very much his pace of storytelling I find very, very interesting and like appealing. I think that he knows just the right amount of words to put on a page. He knows how to let images speak. He just knows how to write a fucking comic book, bro. Matt Kindt is good as hell. So I'm not going to give anything away on this, but the way that everything gets tied together, I thought was quite interesting. I think this is a great time. I think that it's definitely a crime book, but it's pretty low stakes for crime books, right? Like when I'm talking about something that like, I don't know, like later on, I'm going to be talking about some other crime books. It's not heavy, terrible crimes. Like this first story is about a lady who steals chairs. Like that's the level of crimes we're working with here. Usually nothing too crazy. But the way it all comes together is very beautiful, I think. It's beautiful. It's tragic. It's a great time on the way there. Matt Kindt's a very creative guy. I think this is a very unique book. I would recommend it. I would give this a solid 4 out of 5. Red-handed. Matt Kindt slowly making his way. He might be on my Mount Rushmore for comic book writers by the end of this. We'll see how it goes. Up next, we got Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot. It's written by Frank Miller. It's drawn by Jeff Darrow. Colored by Dave Stewart. It's a Dark Horse book. I read Hard Boiled by, I believe, the same team. And so I just decided to give this one a shot too. You know, same people. The other one was a pretty good time. Jeff Darrow's art is off the chain. I do think... Well, this one's not as bad as Hard Boiled, but like Jeff Darrow's stuff might be too detailed for comic books, dude. You just look around and you're like studying every image, and it really disrupts the pace of how you read the book, which is tough because it's like, he's gonna lose points because he's too good, and that might be what I'm saying. Yeah, this story's really weird. There's a terrible kaiju attacks Japan, and Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot are supposed to defeat it. It's like the most generic way I can tell this story. Now, this whole series, this whole book, is one kaiju fight. Pretty much, which was crazy. I didn't expect that, and I felt like this was really drawn out. I'm sure there are people who really like the big monster fight in the city, you know, the Godzilla fans and shit, and maybe they're all about this, but I was not. I think Frank Miller's a good writer. I think that this one's like intentionally being very over the top and kind of silly. Jeff Darrow's obviously a good artist, but I'll be honest, this book really was not for me. So like, I'm glad I'm putting it in this video so that maybe somebody else can find this, like the target audience, but for me, it really was not it, bro. Like I did not have a great experience. Reading this book, I feel like nothing interesting really happens. We just go through this fight, and like the monster's cool, but it's kind of one note the whole way through. Is that sacrilegious to say about a Frank Miller Jeff Darrow book? Maybe, but I'm saying it. Come at me. Big Guy Rusty the Robot. I mean, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 because Jeff Darrow's really good. But I mean, like a very low one. I did not enjoy this book very much, man. To be honest. Up next, we got Manor Black. This is the Six Gun Team, which is why I got it. Written by Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt. Illustrated by Tyler Crook, although Brian Hurt in the second volume does draw some of it. This story is a dramatic, like, soap opera, not realistic fantasy, like fantasy book. It takes place in the modern day. It is about a magical family. Their last name is Black. They have some sort of old familial magic power. The patriarch of it being Roman Black, and we watch him. He is towards the end of his life, and there is some sort of like retiring that he is supposed to do, and that's kind of where we enter the story. There's drama between him and other families. There's drama between him and the town that they live next to. He makes interesting decisions. There's a lot of familial, like soap opera, like shenanigans afoot throughout all of it. And I can't believe I made it this long without saying anything about Tyler Crook's art. Tyler Crook, I think So, okay, here's the deal. This is the Six Gun, guys. I love the Six Gun. It is one of my favorite series ever. So I'm going to get whatever these guys are doing, right? And I feel like this book is right back into their bag. It's what Cullen Bunn does so well, where there's like a little bit of magic, there's a little bit of mystery, but it's all very like based in the characters in like a really interesting way. Like this one especially is like pretty grounded. I was expecting something like really horrific, if I'm being honest, because I know that they did like Harrow County, these two, and I know that Cullen Bunn likes to do the horror, but it really is more like Six Gun, where like crazy stuff happens. There is horrific magic like in the world, but I was not scared necessarily at any point. The other thing that surprised me about this story was the grounded detective part of this that operates like in the town. I'm going over my limit here. You can tell by the way I'm gushing about this book that I really liked it. I think that Manor Black is worth it. It makes me very sad that there's only 2 volumes. This does not give you a satisfying ending to the story. However, I still think it's worth the read. The second book, well, I'm already going over my time. I can't be talking about this more. Maybe catch me in a Hidden Gems video somewhere and I'll give you some more, bro. Manor Black, 4 out of 5. Really liked it. If you like Six Gun, I think you'll like this book too. That's just me though. Up next, we got Basilisk. This is by Cullen Bunn. Drawn by Jonas Scharf. I assume lettered by Alex Guimarães. Oh, colored. My bad. Colored by Alex Guimarães. And lettered by Ed Dukeshire. Alright, so listen. Last book was also written by Cullen Bunn. I was like, it's not really scary. This book scared the shit out of me at certain points. I mean, you can tell by some of these drawings, bro. Some of this shit is nasty, bro. Nasty stuff that happens in this book. The pitch is, first of all, look at these beautiful painted pages. Every chapter of this book, every individual issue starts with some painted pages from Jonas Scharf that are beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Okay, this book is spooky. The pitch of the book is that there are people out there and they have terrible, horrible powers associated with the 5 senses of, taste, smell, touch, the other ones. Taste, what am I missing? Taste, smell, touch. Oh, hearing. You guys know. You know the senses. You went to school. This book follows this girl who I can't remember her name, of course. I struggle with character names. But she wants revenge, and she wants to kill all of them because they suck and they did bad things once. And that's kind of the gist of the book, is this like revenge story. I had a good time with this. It did scare me. There's some like pretty gross, nasty, horrific things that happen just in this one. I'm not sure how long this series goes. Seems like Cullen Bunn does a lot of books that get canceled, which is really tough because I think he is definitely capable of telling like a longer scale story than this. So I don't know if there's another one, to be honest with you. I probably won't be getting it, but that's just because I'm a wimp, not because the quality is not there. I think this book is pretty good, man. It's solid, If you like that pitch, you'll probably like this book. I think it's a little it's a little silly, I like just that pitch is so like put yourself in like a box where you can only do so many things with it. Is I think this book's problem, but I still thought it was a pretty enjoyable time. I would give this one decent too high, 3 out of 5. We got it used. Well, it says new. I got it from Grassroots Book though. Books. Yikes. Buy from your local bookstore, kids. That's what I'm trying to say. Up next, we got North 40. This is written by Aaron Williams and drawn by world-famous saga artist Fiona Staples, which is the real reason I got this book. I went to my local comic book shop. They got a thing where if it's got a colored dot on it, you can get it for cheap. I saw Fiona Staples' name. I was like, well, I might as well take a flyer on it. And I'm glad that I did. This story is crazy. I think that if you read this, you can understand how Fiona Staples goes from this to Saga. I assume this was before Saga. I don't know, actually. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it was after. Fiona Staples is sick, dude. Sick. Her artwork is sick in this. Basically, the gist of the story is there is a small town off the freeway, and these 2 idiots read a big scary book, and then terrible magic things happen to everybody in the town. And it's kind of like big magic thing happens, everyone gets horrific, terrible magic powers, and then you are like watching the aftermath. And that's exactly how it goes. There's not another trade paperback after this, but I mean, look at this, dude. There's some good stuff in here. Freaky stuff. I had a great time reading this. It's not too deep, you know. It's not definitely not gonna like change your life, but I think it's a pretty fun ride. Just as you go around every corner of this town, and there's some new monster, some new person who can do something crazy. Very fun. Very fun story. Definitely along that like fantasy horror line, for sure. But I thought it was pretty fun. I liked it. Definitely here for Fiona Staples' art and just to see all the crazy shit that she can make happen on every page. You know? If that sounds good to you, get this book. I would give this one a high 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it quite a bit. But I understand that it's probably not like a great, it's not going to change your life, bro. That's all I'm saying. It's a good time, though. North 40. Get it, I think. Up next, we got Not All Robots, written by Mark Russell, drawn by Mike Deodato Jr., and colored by Lee Loughridge, I assume. Yeah, lettered by Steve Wands from AWA. Listen, man, I've really given an effort with Mark Russell. I've bought a few of his books. I get that he's the satire guy, and maybe I am just not smart enough to get satire. I mean, I get it. I get what he's like making fun of, but sometimes when reading his books, I'm like, okay, I get that you're making fun of it, but I feel like I also got that before I opened the book. I've opened the book and it has not it has not like advanced that idea any further. It has not, grown into anything bigger. I don't know. And I think this had it. I think this was like a fine time. There were definitely some jokes in here that made me laugh. I think the story is kind of silly, but sometimes when things are silly, I end up just feeling bad for a lot of times to make things funny, it feels like these people have like really sad and pathetic lives, and this falls in that category for me, which I guess is the point. I don't know, dude. Maybe this is all above my head. I think this is my last Mark Russell book, and maybe I'm a worse man for it. Mike Deodato's art, I think, is pretty good. It's definitely like classic comics, I feel like, the way that he draws books. Like when you imagine a comic book, you could imagine a Mike Deodato book. He's quite good. He's very consistent, and he keeps his book very grounded and realistic. I don't know. I haven't even gotten into like the pitch of the story. The point of Not All Robots is we live in a world where every family has a robot in their house, and this robot in their house goes to work and is essentially in charge of the income of that family's house. And the idea of it was to make it so that humans don't have to work anymore, but it's created this very odd dynamic where the robots are the entire workforce, and these people are kind of like subservient because they have to rely on the robots for their income, for their house. And it expands from there. We get a lot of this fake like news show where they are discussing the ideas. Feels a little heavy-handed to me, if I'm being completely honest. There are definitely parts in this book that I did enjoy, but I would say overall this kind of felt like homework, which is tough. So I would give Not All Robots probably like a really low 3 out of 5, a high 2 out of 5. Didn't love it. It's decorating awards, bro. So clearly I'm missing something, but this really did not do it for me. Not All Robots. I mean, if you like a satire, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to pitch it, man. Up next, we got Geiger by Geoff Johns, drawn by Gary Frank, colored by Brad Anderson, one can assume. Yes, letters by Rob Lee. Look at this. I got this one so long ago. It's Mad Ghost instead of Ghost Machine. Isn't that crazy? So, this is a part of their independent, of Geoff Johns and a bunch of other guys who came over from DC and like Big Two Comics. They wanted to make their own connected universe, and I understand that this is the first one that came out, I think. I have read Junkyard Joe, which also takes place in this universe. I had not. I got this one for real cheap from some bookstore, and so I had to give it a shot. The pitch of it. It is the apocalypse. We have nuked the world into nothing. And we are jumping in to what the world is now, this post-apocalyptic kind of wasteland, to follow Geiger, the glowing man, whose name is Tariq. Fun fact. And it's kind of, we're following Geiger. He wants to, before the bombs went down, his family went into a bunker, and Geiger wants to protect the space that his family is in. There are goons and villains who come to try and stop that. Is like the gist of it, kind of? I don't know. I don't want to give too much away, but that's like in the first like few pages what it talks about. First thing I'll say, Gary Frank, very good artist. This is objectively good comics, you know what I mean? Like the art is sick. And I'll be honest, by the end of this book, I'm a little bought into this universe. I'm a little curious. I don't think this book is like too like something you couldn't anticipate. It's not something that hasn't been done before. It feels very like superhero-y, but like contained in its own world. I think it's fun. I enjoyed it. I think it's a little silly for me, but it's made up for by these Gary Frank pages. Like, look at that, bro. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So like, although to me, the story still feels kind of big to corporate comics adjacent, I still had a good time. And I think it's good fun. This is like fun, like it's like the movie you watch in the movie theater just to go and see something that's out. You know what I mean? It's like a summer blockbuster, good time. You know, I don't have to think about it too hard. But it's fun. Which I feel like I've said for a couple books here, and I'm not hating like that, you know? I haven't read that much Jeff Johns, not a huge Jeff Johns guy. But I mean, after reading Junkyard Joe and Geiger, I'm curious about this universe at least. I'll read a couple more, man. Geiger, I'll give a healthy 3 out of 5. I think it's a pretty good time. Up next, we got What's the Furthest Place from Here, Volume 4. Written by, well, I guess this is very complicated. The series is Tyler Boss and Matthew Rosenberg. But this is an anthology of like short stories taking place within the world by Joshua Hickson, Ricardo Lopez Ortiz, Sweeney Boo, and Dylan Burnett. And I was just listening to something with Matt Rosenberg, an interview or a podcast, and he talked about how, weirdly enough, Volume 4 is a great jumping on point for the series. And it really is. It's a bunch of short stories. They're not like connected in any way. They just take place in the world. Josh Hickson. I mean, I like all these artists. I definitely think Josh Hickson and the guy at the end, what is his name? Dylan Burnett were my favorite. I think their styles are sick. Dylan Burnett's style is really, really sick. But I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't read What's the Furthest Place from Here, the setup for the world. But there's a lot of like, it's mildly post-apocalyptic, but it's not clear necessarily that there was an apocalypse. It like kind of looks like our world, but there's like ruins of old, and it's entirely inhabited by children. And so this is kind of taking place all over the timeline, like how we got here. It just picks and chooses from different points and tells these really short stories that I thought were all thrilling, to be honest. I cared. I gave a damn about all of them. Definitely the first one, the last ones were my favorite. I'll say it again. Where I had a great time. I immediately after finishing it went and tried to find all the comic books that they were attached to, which is such a hassle these days, man. Hard to do. I don't know why it's so difficult. But anyway, I really like this book. I had a great time with it. I think a 4 out of 5 is great. I think you're a sicko if this is your first one in the series, but I think you should read the main series up until this point. But What's the Furthest Place from Here? It's a great book. Big recommend. 4 out of 5, man. Get in on this series. There's like 4 of these, bro. 4 of these. And the first one's huge. It's a huge trade. You should get it. Read it. Up next, we got Preacher, Book 5 by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon. The Preacher. One of the, probably, I would say, a lot of people consider this one of the best series ever. I would say they're probably right for that. I like it. I don't know if it's one of my favorites ever, but I really, really like it. Garth Ennis, perhaps a Mount Rushmore comic book writer, I would say. I got mine used. That's why it's got this little tag on here. By Used Books. I don't know the general, like, consensus on the Preacher books, but for me, this one was my favorite book of the entire series so far. Which seems crazy to say because there's only one book after this. It's very, very good. We get some classic Jesse Custer kind of solo action with an eye patch. This Very Western-themed book. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil the story in case you haven't read Preacher. If you haven't, you probably should. It's a little bit of a sicko story, but you know, it's a great time. And I think it's really, really well done. Steve Dillon, what a guy. What a guy, man. Probably the best at drawing like faces, I think. I love Steve Dillon's like faces on his artwork. Book's incredible. Don't want to get too far in the story. We get some big lore drops in this story. We get some classic Western, kind of like new sheriff in town shit that I really thoroughly enjoy. It's so good. The whole series is good. I can't believe that this is my favorite book and it's like book 5, bro. I don't want to say too much. That's why this one's really short. But Preacher book 5 is very good. Read Preacher, bro. Just read it. Oh, I guess I should give it a score. 5 out of 5. Up next, we got The Body Trade. This is written by Zach Thompson, drawn by Jock. Lettered by Hassan Othmani Elhau. I assume it's also colored by Jock. Yeah. Okay. Sick. This is a Mad Cave book. I've been making an active effort to get into more Mad Cave comics. So this was the first one I read, and it's kind of sad because I did not love this book. I think that, like, there's, like, a cool idea here where the pitch fit is there's a dad and his boy's body has been exhumed and kind of taken by this company that wants to use his son's dead body for something. And it's like a revenge story of him trying to get his son's dead body back so he can just bury it and feel right about the whole thing. And that is exactly what it is. There are no surprises. I feel like this book kind of runs in a straight line. There's not really any twists or like it's never amped up. Excitement wise, the story pretty much is that the whole time. And nothing it's kind of the premise implies that there's this like kind of, you know, wicked underground thing happening or maybe a criminal enterprise or that like it's maybe slightly sci-fi, but it like never fully jumps in on all those. And it really is just like a sad dad like walking into the front door of a bunch of corporate buildings and then being turned away, which is not that exciting to me. Jock, as an artist, like I really love this cover. There is some of the stuff that I really like, but I did not. There's some parts where I feel like his artwork didn't totally do it for me. Zach Thompson, I know, is one of these guys who's like up and coming and only does. Up and coming is harsh. I think he's been working for a long time, but he does a lot of these like smaller publisher books, and I really wanted to like this one, you know, and it just didn't ever turn into something more. It never got more exciting. What you get in the first beginning part of this is pretty much how it is the whole time, and that's a little disappointing to me. The Body Trade, for me, I think has to be, we'll give it a high 2 out of 5. I needed more from it. I just needed more. Up next, I have Batman Superman World's Finest. Written by Mark Waid, drawn by Dan Mora, colored by Tamara Bonvillain. This book is exactly what it says on the cover, bro. Batman and Superman, classic superhero adventures. I have read the other 3 previous. I like the series. I feel like at the beginning I was like, oh my god, Dan Mora is a sicko, bro. He is so good. And I was just blown away by that. This one is Batman and Superman. They go to the world of Kingdom Come, which of course Mark Waid wrote. So, you know, I think he should be allowed to go back to the worlds that he created. But I'm just not, the crossoveriness of it all, I'm not super into. I think it was a fine, fun time. I feel like it was a solid continuation of the story thus far. But for me, that first World's Finest trade, or I have the hardcovers, but the first trade of World's Finest is my favorite. Just because it reminds me kind of that like Justice League show, the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, where we just get the superheroes and they're having a good time. This one gets a little bit like bogged down in the whole like multiverse of it all, which I just feel like I'm losing interest in, generally speaking. And maybe that's from the Marvel movies that I've seen, but like I've had enough multiverse, it feels like, for a lifetime. And the fact that we are doing more multiverse stuff in this book was not super exciting to me. Although Dan Mora's art is spectacular, as it always is. He is very talented. It is his once and future co-conspirator, Tamara Bonvillain coloring. I hope that he seems like he's going to make like 3 DC series a year for the rest of his life, and that they're just going to pay him buckets of money, as he deserves, because he draws the superheroes exactly how you picture them in your head. He's got a little bit of like that manga influence, but he has like a real respect for like I don't know, it feels like the history of DC, and he like the spirit of all these characters he captures very well. Yeah, Mark Waid, obviously, legendary writer. I have not loved that many Mark Waid books. Me personally, I also haven't read that many Mark Waid books, in all fairness. So, I mean, this series is like cool. I have another hardcover. I don't know how like locked in I am on this altogether. I'm trying to get away from Marvel and DC books, but these guys, they suckered me into it, with this Dan Mora art. So here I am. I think this is very good. If you're into Big Two comics, you should probably just be reading World's Finest. I don't know why you wouldn't be. It's a good time. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's good fun. Very good fun. And that, I think, is where I'm going to end the first half of this reading log. Yes, there's another half of a video after this. I'm looking at a stack of books I still got to talk about. If you made it this far in the video, I very much appreciate you. If you got any comic books that I should be reading, please leave a comment below about it. I'm always trying to buy more books. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.